Welcome to another Stamp with Cynthia video. Today I'd like to show you how easy it is to create this beautiful, beautiful card. This is using a technique called the floating reinker. By using different colors of reinker, you can achieve these gorgeous, almost stained glass window types of effects. I think today we're going to make this one, this coral colored one. Let's get started, shall we? First of all, you need to start with a piece of shimmery white cardstock. You can't use Whisper White cardstock or watercolor cardstock for this card, since when they get really wet, they just lose all integrity. They get flimsy and floppy and they start to dissolve. The shimmery white cardstock is resistant to that. It's got more integrity. The fact that it's got a bit of shimmer to it is an added bonus, but that's not why you're using it. You're actually using it for the integrity of the cardstock. For today's card, I'll use the Rose Wonder stamp set. Now, the Rose Wonder is one of the big photopolymer stamp sets. I'm going to use my Versamark and get ink all over that rose. I don't need the leaves, I just need the rose. Okay, so I'll take that down over top of my shimmery white, put it down, and then I'm going to really make sure I get good transfer. Nothing's worse than finding out that you are missing the middle of all of the petals. Come in with my white embossing powder. Now it's a little bit difficult to see the white on white, but it'll all make sense when we add the color. That white outline is going to really make all the colors pop. Come in with my heat gun to melt the embossing powder. I'm not sure whether or not you can see that or how well you can see it, but all of those white lines afterwards are going to help to define all of our petals. Now I'm going to be wetting this, so I'm going to put just a plate underneath it. And the next thing I'm going to want is a source of ink colors. So today I'm going to be using Calypso Coral. Calypso Coral will be my darker color. Okay, so just a few drops of the reinker. I'm going to use Pumpkin Pie as my medium color. And Daffodil Delight will be my my lightest color. Just a minute. There you go. Okay, so I have my palette. Now the next thing I'm going to need is my aqua painter. My aqua painters are just going to be used as a paintbrush. I'm not really going to use the water in them, just the tips. Okay. Okay, so let me see, can I get all of this into the shot? Okay. Okay, so here's my flower. I need to get this really wet. I want the water to be pooled up on top of this image so that when I touch a little bit of reinker to it, it just spreads out in the water. Okay, when I wet this paper, it's going to curl, so I'm actually going to hold it down. I'm going to try to hold it down as best I can. And you'll see that I really wet that paper well. Okay, so I'm going to come in with my darkest color, just touch the aqua painter, and you see how right away the ink starts spreading. I'm not really doing a lot to manipulate it. I'm just letting it go wherever it wants. Okay. So there's my darkest color. Now I'm going to come in with my medium, which is just my Pumpkin Pie. It's really important to keep to have water just pooled up over top of these. Okay. And now I want my lightest one. I might add just a little bit, another spritz water to that. Keep it wet. This will be my Daffodil Delight. See how my colors are mixing just on their own. If I want, I can try to drag a little bit. Okay, some more. Now, I think I like the way that looks. Maybe make sure I don't have such big puddles. A little bit of orange over here. think that's going to be a very interesting flower. Okay, just a second. I want one last little bit, my dark color just there. There. Okay. Now what we need to do is we need to let this dry. I like to tip it up just a little bit. It doesn't matter whether my colors fall down off the page because I'm going to be cutting this image out when I'm done. Just move that around a bit. There. Okay, I'm going to let that dry. Okay, while that's drying, I think what I'll do is I will get the rest of my card prepared. Okay, so I'll move this over to the side. First thing I did, I used the Rose Garden framelits, okay, and I used some Mossy Meadow cardstock and just gave myself a set of leaves. Okay, so the big leaf and the big leaves and the small leaves, I'm just going to use those bits, okay. I also have a piece of regular Whisper White cardstock with my Calypso Coral ink and my Birthday Sentiment from the Birthday Blossoms stamp set. Okay. Now I want my curvy corner trio punch. It carried over from the last catalog. I was so happy it did. I love that little effect this gives. Just push that into the corner. Give myself just a little bit of detailing up there. Okay. And I like to use just a little bit of my Tombow glue. Tombow, I have to admit, really is my favorite. You don't need very much. There's my Tombow. There you go. Make sure that's nice and glued down well. Now the hardest part about this whole technique is waiting for the flower to dry. Here it is again, still pretty wet. We can speed up the process if we want by just blotting a little bit of the ink, the wettest spots. You can of course let it dry naturally, and of course it's gorgeous when it dries naturally. I just am not quite that patient. You can also take a heat gun to it to try to dry it just a little bit faster. Now, depending on how wet it was, will depend on how long it takes to dry. Once it is dry, you just use your paper snips and cut it out. Now, although this is fussy cutting, you don't really have to worry that much. They're nice big cuts. It doesn't take you very long at all. There. Isn't that gorgeous? It almost looks like a stained glass window. Now, one of the things I discovered, as beautiful as that is, you can make it even better. Our new Wink of Stella pen adds just a bit of shimmer to this entire thing, and it just makes it pop. I'm not being particularly careful. I don't have to worry about staying inside the lines. Going over top of the white embossing lines is not a problem at all. And as you can see, I can cover this entire image with the Wink of Stella in about 60 seconds. There you have it. Now, this one is beautiful, but this one I'm not sure if you can see that shimmer, but that shimmer is to die for in real life. I'm just going to use a little bit of Scotch tape, because what I'll do is decide on the placement of my leaves. I like this one round about there. And these ones, let's say, I like that. Look at that. I think that works. Tape them on the back. Once I have those where I want them, I'm going to give myself some dimensionals. I like the look of this. Really popped up. I'm going to use some of the edge pieces too. That one. Because this paper has a bit of a curve to it after it's been wet and dried, I'm going to put a fair amount of dimensionals around the outside edges. I do want to keep that flat. Okay. Now, peel off all the backings. Bring my card back out. There you go. Isn't that just the most beautiful thing? And it did not take long at all. So there you have it. And look at the shimmer on that card. Ah, I love this. Wink of Stella is a fantastic thing. There you have the floating re-inker technique. I hope you've enjoyed this Stamp with Cynthia video. If there are any products that you would like to order and you live anywhere in Canada, I would love to be your demonstrator. Please contact me and we'll see what we can do about getting some of these great new Stampin' Up! Products into your hands. Have a lovely day, have a lot of fun stamping, and God bless. Bye-bye.